What's up guys, the Strong Boys 19 here. This is going to be the next album review for a 2021 release, and I am going to be reviewing the latest album from the band Darkthrone, entitled Eternal Hails. Now this is the band's 19th studio album in their discography. This was released through Peaceville Records. Now, I don't really need to talk to you about who Darkthrone are, because if you are very familiar with the very influential, pioneering and a distinctive sound of black metal, Darkthrone has been one of the biggest household names of the genre ever since it became a massive thing in the terms of some more heavier, murky and a grunty sound of aggression and intensity. And the band, along the discography, released one of the most critically acclaimed albums of all time, like Transylvanian Hunger to Panzerfaust, and then incorporating different styles along the way with the genres of heavy metal to a bit of death metal, crust punk, etc. So I think that Eternal Hails was, I guess, a bit of a surprise for me to see Darkthrone releasing another album, being the latest and following up 2019's album of Old Star. And Darkthrone had been one of my personal favourite bands in the black metal scene, along other bands that have been as hailed and acclaimed, bands like Mayhem to Emperor, Burzum, etc. This album has 5 tracks and it's just over 42 minutes in its length. The production of the album is just basically all that you would like to hear if you are a massive Darkthrone fan. The production of this thing sounds really, really lo-fi quality, but still delivers a murky, raw, and still a vicious sound from the album's instrumentation and the moodiness. The first track of the album, His Master's Voice, a very raw and menacing introduction, which has a pit of dirgy punk-ish style riffing and drumming. It was a striking, rough performance while the vocals were howling with the growls sounds, and brings in a very heavy metal style sound. I do like the descending slower breakdown section that pops in with a harmonic twin guitar section style that finishes the song. The next track on the album, and personally for me, my favourite of the album, Hate Cloak, a banging sound of drums, and again the twin guitar introduction, then delivers a slower tempo this time around, and I like the repetitive flow of the riffs with the droning doom style, and then the pace picks right up with the massive progression of low dirgy distortion, and I like the, I guess, fuzzy-ish style guitar solo while the reverb drenches with the instrumental sound. This is a song that presents a mood that for me feels stronger and more of a connection that I like more than His Master's Voice, but I still think this has been my favourite of the record overall. And the next track of the record, Wake of the Awaken, this marks things on another moody yet energetic made sound of a track. The vocals were bringing in a lot of the intensity as the faster alternate picking style riffs continue with the destructive set of drumming beats and a variety of its fills. I feel that this is the most atmospheric number as I listen to the track, because it grows in a lot of its mysteriousness and the dread with the ominous feeling. And I do like that some of the riffs remind me on a little bit of a Tony Iommi early Black Sabbath-ish kind of vein of this type of track. It was quite expansive and progressive along the way while the music moves forward and decides to itself what could be done in another form of the destructive nature of the track. The next track of the record, Voyage to a North Pole Adrift, This opens up on a distorted, delayed guitar introduction, and then the drums make the slow move again, changing the tempo, and feels very similar to my ears when I hear the structure from Cloak, but it still makes the blazing sound all the way through with aggressive guitars and the less chaotic complexity. These guitar solos, though, remind me on something a very improv bluesy style, yet the dark repetitive nature comes along, and then the later change to the track of making it faster pops in with some more of an exploring nature, making it still like a progressive yet destructive sound with some rumbling double bass drummings and tempo changes. The last track of the record to conclude the album, Lost Arcane City of Upakara. Awesome, brutal guitar sound and crashing drums, which makes the tonality of the track really violent and vicious, goes in various ways. The drums really good of this instrumental path with a lot of groove, and it was really intriguing while the boosting up tempo of its punishing variety delivers so well, and then it just abruptly changes things, quiet set of volumes, with a sound of the bass guitar and the chorus tinged type of effect and gentle taps of the ride cymbal, making it a different set of tonality on something gloomy and so dreary and very melancholic. And then that continues all the way through, completing the album in a slower paced doom metal style as it goes into chilling and a misty mark of a finalizing piece to finish off the album. The only thing that I would say on a negative note on the album is that there were some very good marks of where the album's going, but there were points that I think some of the riffs just don't fit in a very memorable aspect to my mind, and I think there were points that it can be pretty forgettable and not as strong. It doesn't, fulfill me as much as I would call it like one of the best albums in the discography from Darkthrone. The vocals are really good of this album, but I just think that it could be adding in a little bit more, maybe some more of higher screams, but I find the gruntiness, the growls all the way through the album sound very good with this kind of presentation and the production that all fits in so well with what the guys wanted to achieve for this album here. Overall, Darkthrone's newest album of Eternal Hails to me is a very good solid album, and I am curious to know what you personally think of this album in the comments down below. So for an album rating, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10. For me personally, like I said, not one of the best Darkthrone albums, because I think that some of the earlier albums were more of a distinctive and a favourable mark of albums. But this is still, for me, in my opinion, one of the albums that I would recommend for any metal fan to discover and check out the newest material from the guys. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, I will keep you guys posted for more videos in the near future.